welcome
Now
to,
I can.
yes, yes. Welcome to Ilora Bigyan Monch, a very popular science movement here in Assam. So let me introduce you to our viewers. Dr. Raj is a scientist, he is formerly a scientist in All India Institute of Immunology, New Delhi, and presently he is adjunct faculty member of Indian Institute of Education and Research, Pune, Translational Health Science and Technology, CMC Fellow, and is a very veteran and leading member of Delhi Science Forum and All India Pimple Science Network. আমাৰ দৰ্শকসকলকে মই অভিনন্দন জনাইছোঁ আজিৰ এই আলোচনাত অংশগ্ৰহণ কৰাৰ কাৰণে। ইতিমধ্যে I am speaking in Assamese to our viewers. Please wait.
There's background noise, so I can't hear.
Oh, background. So let me speak in Assam to our viewers in Assamese. আমি করোনার প্ৰতিৰোধ আৰু প্ৰতিষেধক ব্যৱস্থা সম্পৰ্কে বেছি মানুহে এক দুখৰ ধাৰণালৈ থাকিবলগীয়া হৈছে। ফলত আমাৰ মাজত সংশয় আৰু উদ্বিগ্নতাই অহৰহ মানসিক হেঁচা সৃষ্টি কৰিছে। এই সম্পৰ্কে এক পৰিষ্কাৰ ধাৰণা সৃষ্টিৰ বাবে আমাৰ মাজলৈ আমন্ত্ৰণ কৰিছোঁ ভাৰতৰ প্ৰসিদ্ধ চিকিৎসা বিজ্ঞানী ডক্টৰ সত্যজিৎ পাঠক। So I will directly go to you because our time is very limited. So my first question is, please express your views on the role of the central government in dealing with the pandemic situation. Are you hearing me?
Yes.
Yes.
So what is the role of the central government in dealing with the pandemic situation? So let us divide the response into two. What are the things that the central government has done right? And what are the things that it has done wrong? So let us start with the first thing that the central government did. It declared a national lockdown. It declared a national lockdown at a time when apparently, we don't know for sure, but apparently the number of cases was very small. Was this a correct decision? The answer to that depends on what the intention of the lockdown was. If there was to be a short lockdown to plan for the long-term dealing with the pandemic by building up public health facilities, by providing extensive public information, and by planning for case identification, contact tracing, and extensive testing, and finally planning both for dignified humane isolation of infected individuals, dignified and humane isolation of infected individuals, coupled to providing for support to the inevitable loss of livelihood that even a short lockdown would lead to, then a short lockdown would have been a proper thing to do. So the question is, did the central government do any of what I just outlined that should have been done during the initial lockdown? And the answer is that the central government tried a few of these things, but most of these things it did not provide for. It did not, as we all know, provide for livelihood support. We know that even today, 4 or 5 months after the initial lockdown was declared, we still do not have dignified, humane isolation of cases. quarantine conditions are still extremely poor. We know that we still do not have adequate testing. We know that our community health workers, our ASHA workers and the related community health workers who are the front line for case identification in community, for contact tracing, and for supervision of home quarantine are not paid at all or are paid very badly. We know that interstate coordination, which is essential for the central government to plan and to supervise as a response, has been extremely poor. So, and finally, we know that the initial lockdown, national lockdown, which should have been of a short period while we plan for a systematic response to the pandemic, was simply extended month after month after month after month without any of the necessary conditions that I just outlined being fulfilled. So in a variety of ways, the central government's response to the pandemic has been inadequate. Has it been wrong? No. Has it been adequate? Not at all. The only way that the government of India's response to the pandemic has not been wrong is in contrast to the American government's response to the pandemic, which has been completely unscientific and wrong. The government of India has not done wrong things to that extent. But has it done what was necessary and adequate? I don't think so.
Thank you. Thank you. I will go to the second question. How long a post-COVID-19 patient may continue to have immunity against the disease?
This is a very difficult question to answer. All of us must remember that for all of us, including our scientists, our experts, our physicians, for everybody, this is a new illness. This is a new disease. So our experience with it is extremely limited. One of the many questions to which we still do not have a proper answer is the one you just asked. How long, if I have once had the infection, how long am I protected? So there are three different lines of evidence which I am going to outline for our viewer friends. Firstly, while this particular virus is new for us, we have met other cousins of this virus, other members of the coronavirus family. We are familiar with. There are 4 members of the coronavirus family which give us the common cold. And there is evidence from them that the immunity to one of them, so if I have a common cold because of one of these other coronaviruses, immunity can be very short lasting, few months. Within 1 year, I can get infection with the common cold coronavirus for a second time. Now, this is what the cousins of COVID-19 do. Does this mean that this is what happens in COVID-19? No, we don't know. But it might happen because it is relative. The second line of evidence is that people who have had COVID-19 have been tested for antibodies, for immunity to the virus. And researchers have tested how long this immune response lasts. And the answer is very unsatisfactory. In some studies, 10% people lose one kind of immune response at the end of 3 months after disease. In other studies, as many as 30% of people who were infected lose immune response 3 to 4 months after disease. But here is a problem. In yet other studies, while people with infection lose one kind of immune response, the antibody response, 3 or 4 months after the disease, another kind of immune response, the T cell response, is not lost. And in all of this, information about which of these immune responses is protective against reinfection is not yet clear. So this is the second unsatisfactory line of evidence. The third line of evidence that I will provide is people have looked at those few cases all over the world which seem to have had a second infection, a reinfection within a few months. And in most of those cases, it is very hard to say that it was really a reinfection. In most of those cases, the evidence was not clear whether it was simply prolongation of the first infection, which had not been cleared in these people for some reason or the other, or whether it was a real reinfection. So in all these ways, the information that we have, the evidence that we have, is very unsatisfactory for answering that question. The likelihood is twofold, and this is a likelihood. So I am offering a guess for our friends listening. The guess is that for a few months, 3 or 4 months, a person who has been infected and has recovered is likely to be protected. Beyond that, it is a little less clear, but my guess is that for quite some more months, such a person, even if they get reinfected, will have a much milder disease. But as I said, our listeners should keep in mind that this is a guess based on very preliminary evidence.
Thank you. Please enlighten us in regard to plasma therapy. Can 1 unit of plasma be given to 2 patients as claimed continuously by our State Health Minister here in us?
Yes. So I can imagine that plasma therapy is very much in the news, and everybody is discussing it quite extensively. So let me say something depressing about plasma therapy. I am sorry, I apologize to all our comrades for this, but let me say something depressing about plasma therapy. I just said that when I am infected and I am recovered, I can be tested for antibody. My blood plasma can be taken and tested for antibody. That I have antibody proves that I have made an immune response against the virus. But it does not prove that the antibodies I have made are protective. There are 2 different tests. One is simply to test if there are antibodies. There is a separate test and a more difficult test for deciding whether those antibodies are protective.
Yeah.
That second test is not commonly done. So when we talk about plasma therapy, we are making the assumption that person who has recovered has not simply antibodies. We test for antibodies. But whether those antibodies are protective or not, we are not testing. So we are using plasma from such a person for therapy with an assumption, not with evidence. That is the first problem. The second problem with plasma therapy is amounts. The antibody test says whether I have antibodies or not. It does not say how much antibody I have. What we still do not know is how much protective antibody should be given to you if you have not so far been exposed. How much antibody that is protective should be given to you to protect? Now, here is the quantity problem, the amount problem. I don't know how much protective antibody is there in donor. I don't know how much protective antibody should be given to recipient to protect her or him. How do I know whether what I am arbitrarily giving as 1 unit of plasma is doing anything at all or not? And this is why plasma therapy is an act of faith. Is it rationally based? Yes, in the sense that if enough protective antibody can be given, we will have some protective effect. But is our current plasma therapy properly designed, well tried, and reliable? I am afraid the answer is no. In addition to this, as the last point, let me point out that plasma therapy is also subject to the same considerations that blood transfusion is subject to. The matching is required. The testing of the donor plasma for various viruses is also required, because otherwise you may inadvertently transfer other virus diseases. All of this makes plasma therapy, let me use a harsh phrase, more show than substance.
Yeah. So, viewers, দৰ্শকসকলে ইতিমধ্যে আপোনালোকে লক্ষ্য কৰিছে যে আমাৰ যিটো প্লাজমা থেৰাপিৰ বিষয়ে ব্যাপক চৰ্চা চলি আছে, এই চিকিৎসা ব্যৱস্থাটো এটা নিৰ্ভৰযোগ্য ব্যৱস্থা বুলি এতিয়াও বিজ্ঞানীসকলে কোনে প্ৰমাণ পোৱা। কাৰণ আমাৰ তেজত যি এণ্টিবডি থাকে, সেই এণ্টিবডি ইনফেকশ্যনৰ পাছত কি পৰিমাণে আছে বা তাৰ গুণগত মান কি বা পৰিগণিত মান কি, এইবিলাকক পৰীক্ষা নিৰীক্ষা কৰাৰ কোনো নিৰ্দিষ্ট ব্যৱস্থা আমাৰ অৱলম্বন কৰা হোৱা নাই। গতিকে প্লাজমা থেৰাপিটো এতিয়াও পৰীক্ষাৰ স্তৰতে আছে, ইয়াৰ কোনো প্ৰত্যাশিদ্ধতা এতিয়াও প্ৰমাণিত হোৱা নাই। কিন্তু যিহেতু এইটো গৱেষণাৰ পৰ্যায়ত আছে, গতিকে আমি তৎক্ষণাত ইয়াক নৎসাত কৰিব নোৱাৰোঁ, আৰু প্লাজমা থেৰাপিয়ে কৰোনাৰ ট্ৰিটমেণ্টত কিবা বিৰাট সহায় কৰিব বুলি আমি দাবী কৰিব নোৱাৰোঁ। Next question to you, Dr. Raj. Many countries, including India, are on the way to make vaccine against COVID-19. When can we expect a vaccine? Is it very near as planned by some institution or by some governments?
So obviously, this is a question close to everybody's heart. When can we get a vaccine? When can we feel protected? So let me say something about both how a vaccine is made and what the time course of vaccine appearing in the market and in the community looks like. So remember, all of us should remember that a vaccine is essentially giving the body something that looks like a virus, so that the body makes an immune response against it. But unlike the real virus, what we give it is not dangerous. So a vaccine is a mimic of infection. It is a mimic in the sense that it generates this protective immune response, but it does not cause any harm. It does not cause disease, it does not cause harm. So essentially, what we have to give the body is something that looks like the virus. We have to put it into the body, but is not dangerous. So there are a number of different ways, different technologies of giving the body something that looks like a virus, but is safe. There are broadly 5 technologies that are being used to make a vaccine for SARS-CoV-2 and COVID-19. The oldest technology, which is simply grow the virus, kill the virus and inject the killed virus. So it cannot cause disease, but it still looks like the virus to the body will make an immune response. So that is 200 years, 150 years old. It goes back to Louis Pasteur. The most recent technology is only 20 years old. It is from this century. So an entire range of technologies is being brought into use for vaccine design. There are between 150 to 200 research groups across the world trying to make vaccines, and all of them are using one of these 5 technologies. So let us be clear that there is no great innovation or invention about this vaccine. We know what technologies there are. We know how to do it. These are the 5 technologies. But here is the great limitation. We have no way of predicting and guaranteeing whether a certain vaccine design will work and protect. Therefore, all of these are only possible vaccines, or more correctly, vaccine candidates, like Assembly or Lok Sabha candidates. They are not legislators until they are elected. So these are all candidates. How do you test them? After you have done a few experiments in animals, you have to test them in humans. You have to test them in healthy humans, which means first you have to test whether they are safe or not. Small trial to test whether they are safe, then a larger trial to test whether, in addition to being safe, they make antibody response, and then in a very large trial. So the first phase trial is 10-20 people. Second phase trial is 50-100 people. Third phase trial usually involves thousands, if not tens of thousands of people, because that is where the testing requires asking whether people are actually protected against the disease in the community or not. Third phase will therefore take a long time, because you have to vaccinate thousands of people, and then you have to wait and see how many in this group versus how many in that group get disease. About 8 vaccines now, 8 vaccine candidates are in this third phase clinical trial. The expectation is that by the end of the year, we will get at least a few of these showing reasonable effect, not showing perfect effect, not showing perfect protection, but showing some protection. We will have no evidence on how long protection lasts, and therefore how often you have to take vaccine again and again. But we will get a first generation number of vaccines. And therefore, technically, by January, a few first generation vaccines that work reasonably will be technically available. But that's only technically. So let me stop here and let me ask you to go on to your next question, which I think is about
The time is
actual
very-
vaccine.
Can the manufacture of vaccine be associated with profiteering international trade?
Okay, so mm, let me then go on to address precisely that question. So here is the difficulty. I told you that there are 170 odd research groups trying to make vaccines. Almost all of these research groups are publicly funded university research groups. You please tell me whenever you want to stop.
No, you keep going. Keep going.
So almost all of these research groups are publicly funded research groups. But the trouble is, let us say that they show that their vaccine candidate works in our stage 3 trial. Who is going to manufacture vaccines? In order to distribute in large numbers in the community, we need large numbers of vaccine doses. Who is going to manufacture them? And because both in India and in the rest of the world, there is no public sector manufacturer, what we are left with is all of this publicly funded research is being handed over to private companies to manufacture vaccines and to sell them at profit. So the discussion then becomes twofold. Number one, all of these companies claim intellectual property on these vaccines. And therefore, the question becomes, how much profit is legitimate? Nobody says there should not be profit. The question simply becomes, how much profit is legitimate? But the second problem that arises, so this is clearly profit-making industry making profit from a pandemic, even if not profiteering. And they will not be profiteering only if we stop them from profiteering. But the second problem becomes even more difficult, which is that we now begin to indulge in vaccine nationalism. Because companies are saying, okay, I have capacity to make 100 crores. Who wants the first vaccines, that vaccine batches that I manufacture? And the US, European countries all begin to say, we will give you advance payment and reserve vaccines. Which means that vaccines for poor people, vaccines for the global south, vaccines for communities which live on the margins, vaccines for the bulk of the world's population will be the last option. And therefore, my guess is that even though technically the vaccine will be available early next calendar year, in reality, it will take an enormous amount of political mobilization and effort to push governments before the vaccine will become available to ordinary people towards the end of next year. In this, as many vaccines as can be shown to work is useful. As many vaccines from as many different places as can be shown to work is useful. And therefore, vaccine publicly funded research efforts in India to make vaccines are welcome. There are at least 3 of them that I know that are in fairly advanced stage. And vaccine manufacturers like the Serum Institute of India in Pune are a very useful component, but it is still going to take all of us in socio-political mobilization demanding that vaccines be made available to everybody equitably and affordably for that to actually happen.
Hello. ইতিমধ্যে ডক্টৰ ৰাথে আমাৰ ভ্যাকচিন সম্পৰ্কত কিছু কথা ক'লে যে ভ্যাকচিন এতিয়াও গৱেষণাৰ পৰ্যায়তে আছে যদিও বহু দেশে পাব্লিক সেক্টৰত বা ৰাজহুৱা উৎসাহ খণ্ডত এই ভ্যাকচিনৰ গৱেষণা চলাই আছে কিন্তু কিছুমান প্ৰাইভেট কোম্পানীও এইবিলাকৰ ওপৰত গৱেষণা চলাই আছে গতিকে ভ্যাকচিনৰ নিশ্চয় কোম্পানীবিলাকে তেওঁলোকে লাভজনক ব্যৱসায় হিচাপে ব্যৱহাৰ কৰিব কিন্তু প্ৰশ্নটো হৈছে যে লাভটো কিমানখিনি ল'ব বা কিমানখিনি লাভ হ'লে তেওঁলোকৰ ন্যায্যতা থাকিব এই সম্পৰ্কে এতিয়াও যথেষ্ট চিন্তাৰ বিষয় আছে আমাৰ ভাৰতবৰ্ষতো ইতিমধ্যে 3টা কেন্দ্ৰত ভ্যাকচিনৰ গৱেষণা চলি আছে আৰু অগ্ৰগতিও হৈছে কিন্তু প্ৰশ্নটো হৈছে কি যে এতিয়াও ভ্যাকচিনৰ নিৰ্ভৰযোগ্যতা প্ৰমাণিত হোৱা নাই আৰু ভ্যাকচিন ওলোৱাৰ পিছতো যে গৰীব জনসাধাৰণে প্ৰত্যেকজন গৰীব জনসাধাৰণে এই ভ্যাকচিনৰ সুযোগ ল'ব পাৰিব নে নোৱাৰে এই ক্ষেত্ৰত কিন্তু তীব্ৰ জনমতৰ প্ৰচেষ্টা কৰাৰ প্ৰয়োজন আছে সামাজিক ক্ষেত্ৰত ৰাজনৈতিক ক্ষেত্ৰত আন্দোলন গঢ়ি তোলাৰো প্ৰয়োজন আছে যাতে প্ৰত্যেকজন মানুহে এই ভ্যাকচিন ব্যৱহাৰ কৰিবলৈ সমৰ্থ হয় তেনেকুৱা যাতে এটা ব্যৱস্থা গঢ়ি তোলা হয় বা চৰকাৰে তেনেকুৱা এটা ব্যৱস্থা তাৰ কাৰণে আমি চৰকাৰৰ ওপৰত হেঁচা সৃষ্টি কৰিব লাগিব আমি সামাজিক ৰাজনৈতিক আন্দোলন গঢ়ি তুলিব লাগিব জনমতৰ সৃষ্টি কৰিব লাগিব যাতে প্ৰত্যেকজন একেবাৰে দৰিদ্ৰজনে যাতে এই ভ্যাকচিনৰ সুযোগ গ্ৰহণ কৰিব পাৰে তাৰ কাৰণে আমি সকলোৱে যত্নপৰ হ'ব লাগিব আৰু যিটো প্ৰশ্ন আহিছে যে আন্তৰ্জাতিক ক্ষেত্ৰত যিবিলাকে ভ্যাকচিন তৈয়াৰ কৰি আছে বিভিন্ন সংগঠনে প্ৰায় 150টা ৰিচাৰ্চ ইনষ্টিটিউটে এইবিলাক কৰি আছে কিন্তু এইবিলাকৰ ক্ষেত্ৰত কিছুমান দেশে আগতীয়াকৈ পইচা জমা দি ভ্যাকচিন কিনাৰ বন্দোবস্ত কৰিছে ইতিমধ্যে কিঞ্চিৰন ইনষ্টিটিউটত আমি গম পাইছোঁ যে 150 কাণ্ট্ৰি ডোনাৰ কাণ্ট্ৰি আছে তেওঁলোকে ইতিমধ্যে প্ৰায় $6 মিলিয়ন কালেক্ট কৰিছে গতিকে সেইটো যদি অংক কৰিবলৈ যায় তেওঁলোকে 200 মিলিয়ন ভ্যাকচিন তৈয়াৰ কৰিব আৰু এতিয়া আপাতত দৃষ্টিত কোনো লাভ নকৰিলেও দেখা যায় যে সেইবিলাক ভ্যাকচিনৰ একোটা ভ্যাকচিনৰ দাম প্ৰায় 1,500 টকা পৰি যাব লাভ নকৰিলেও আৰু যদি তাত প্ৰফিট ৰাখে তেনেহ'লে সাধাৰণ মানুহে সেই ভ্যাকচিন ল'বলৈ সমৰ্থ নহ'ব সেইকাৰণে প্ৰফিটৰ কথাটো আহি গৈছে ইতিমধ্যে আৰু এই ভ্যাকচিনৰ ব্যৱসায় এটা আন্তৰ্জাতিক ক্ষেত্ৰত গঢ়ি তোলাৰ কাৰণে প্ৰচেষ্টাও হৈছে আৰু পৰিকল্পনাও কৰিছে তাত কিছুমান ষড়যন্ত্ৰও হৈ আছে গতিকে আমাৰ ভাৰতবৰ্ষত যাতে এতিয়ালৈকে চৰকাৰী খণ্ডতে গৱেষণাবিলাক চৰকাৰী উদ্যোগতো হৈ আছে আমি এইটোক আদৰণি জনাইছোঁ কিন্তু আমি এইটো কথা নিশ্চিত নহয় যে এই লাভজনক ব্যৱসায়টো লাভ যিসকলে লাভ কৰিব তেওঁলোকৰ হাতলৈ যাব নে সাধাৰণ মানুহ ইয়াৰ দ্বাৰা উপকৃত তাৰ কাৰণে কিন্তু লাগিব জনমত সৃষ্টি কৰিব লাগিব সামাজিক আৰু ৰাজনৈতিকভাৱে মানুহক সচেতন কৰিব লাগিব যাতে প্ৰত্যেকজন গৰীব মানুহে ইয়াৰ দ্বাৰা লাভান্বিত গতিকে দৰ্শকসকল আপোনালোকক ধন্যবাদ জনাইছোঁ এই অনুষ্ঠানত অংশগ্ৰহণ কৰাৰ কাৰণে Dr. Rath, I thank you very much on behalf of Ellora Vigyan Mancha for being with us amidst your very busy schedule. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.